Hey, how's it going?
Started with Coach Ekeler, and like I did with the guys last week, he knows some of your faces, but if you want to just introduce yourselves and your affiliation when you're asking a question. So,
Welcome back.
I appreciate it. Great to be back, Tom.
questions?
Well, you've kind of devoted your life's work to special teams. What, really, in the last few years too. Why did you want it to swing that way in your career?
You know, we had a 3-year run at Southern Cal in Georgia. It went 10-3, 10-3. 2 out of those 3 years, we were number 7 defense in the country. And both those years, I put a for sale sign in my front yard. You know, we got let go as a staff at Southern Cal with Lane, and then with Coach Richt. And so, really, truly, that kind of sparked me into, I like to be on an island. And there's an old saying, my ass, my hands. And so that's where I like to go. And you know what? We play great on special teams. It's on these kids. We don't, it's on me. And so I like that. I like the heat. That's why I came here.
All right. This was your first full-time job years ago when you came here with Bo. I mean, how much has your career evolved with all the places that you've been since Nebraska the first time around?
Man, it's been amazing. Like yesterday, it really truly brought tears to my eyes. We're sitting in a team meeting, and there was a deal about Levante David, and we were talking. You know, they were talking to the team about it, and then I got up in special teams, and I said, "Hey, fellas," I said, "I don't know if you guys know this, but I was here in 8, 9, 10 and recruited that young man," and I kind of went through his story and said it was one of my favorite players I've ever coached in my entire career. And I said, truthfully, he taught me more than I ever taught him. And absolutely love that guy. But going on to different, you know, I toured the country. My wife and I, we laugh about it. Our kids would say, like, one summer we were on vacation, and Abby said, "Hey, Dad, when people ask me where are we from, what should I tell them?" And I put on that country song. You know, I've been everywhere, man. And she's like, you know, played it. And she's like, yeah, we've been there. Like, no, that's all you need to say. But anyhow, going these different places and being around some incredible coaches. I mean, from Ed Orgeron, Lane Kiffin, Mark Richt, you know, played for Bob Stoops, Bill Snyder, all these guys that, you know, and Bo, I mean, all these guys shaped me. And all we are as coaches, we're teachers. And you can go to East Peabody U, or you can go to Harvard. And I'm, by the grace of God, I got an opportunity to go to Harvard in coaching, and with some unbelievable people that I've taken so much from. So I wouldn't change my path for anything. And it all kind of led me back here and to work with Coach Rule, who truly, maybe I've been here only a few weeks, but this man may be the best leader I've ever been around. I mean, I sit there in his meetings, and I'm taking notes left and right. He's incredible. I mean, the University of Nebraska, the people of Nebraska, I hope you understand how blessed you are to have such a tremendous, tremendous coach and a great leader. And he's one of the only guys that probably in the game, think about his path. Think about, started off coaching D-line. Then he went linebackers, special teams coordinator. Then he makes, a logical progression. He's a defensive coordinator. Another logical progression, he's a quarterbacks coach. Then he's offensive line coach for the Giants when they won the Super Bowl. Then, I mean, like, who does that? The man can coach. He's so highly intelligent. He can coach every position on the field. And he knows it. And what he's done, in my opinion, is he's hired a bunch of great teachers. And that's how, he's got a great plan as far as what he looks for in recruiting. We got a really fast football team. And, I mean, like Coach Snow said, he said, I was talking about the speed, and Coach Snow's like, hey, have you ever seen a donkey win the Kentucky Derby? He goes, we recruit speed and develop guys. And that's who he is. So I feel like I walked into an opportunity of a lifetime. And I walked away from a phenomenal situation where I was at Tennessee and with Josh Heupel, who's a lifelong friend of mine. So to come back here and to be a part of what's going on here and just do my job. That's what Coach said the other day. He said, everybody's got a job to do. Well, he hired me to come in here and coach special teams. And you know what? I'm going to give Coach Rule, I'm going to give the university and everybody in the state everything I got.
Mike, when you walk into a situation like this with that job, what is your first order of business? What have you set out to do, and will you in the next few weeks?
To get to know the players and evaluate each and every one of these players. I've got a huge spreadsheet, and every one of these players is on it, and it's got 6 different boxes, and it's the 4 core special teams, and it's got field goal and field goal block, and identify what each one of these guys can do. And then Coach said it best too. He's like, I don't want to hear what they can't do. Tell me what they can do. And that's what we're doing right now. And that's what we'll do throughout spring, and then we'll put it all together.
Was it, when you left Tennessee, was it Nebraska or nowhere else, or why did it end up this way exactly?
You know, each year when you have success, and previous year had an opportunity. One of the most famous coaches in football, I won't mention him, called and had an opportunity. And each year, if you do your job at a high level, you have opportunities. If you don't, you have a for sale sign in your yard. And so, this was a really unique opportunity. This is where I'm from. This is my home. My parents live in Fremont. My uncle Bob Martin was an All-American here. I grew up going to every one of these games, and it's in your blood. And Nebraska, to be able to come back and do my part, do a small part of bringing it back where we're all used to. That's why I came. And, like I said, I'm a blue collar guy. I'm not going to say we're going to do this, we're going to do that, and we're going to put our pads on. We'll talk with our damn pads. And, so saying this is what we're doing, it's a process. And at the end of the year, we're going to look up, and we're not going to look up till then.
Sam McEwen from the Omaha World Herald. Welcome
Yeah.
back, Coach. It's not as easy to return punts as it was 20 years ago, but your teams at Tennessee did a great job year after year. I think you guys have more than 1,000 yards in the last 3 years.
1,325.
There you go. So
And 8
how'd
blocks.
you guys do that?
Truly, it's a culture. It's a culture, and we are saying it's ABT, all about technique for ABM, all about money. Everything we do on special teams, it's technique. And our guys are starting to understand already that it makes them a complete football player. It's all transferable skills. We're doing kickoff drills, and okay, you're a receiver. You're stemming a DB, you're stepping on his toes, you look him in the eyes, you run a post cut, and your eyes stun him. All right, you're playing receiver. Okay, I made all the guys stand up, all the offensive guys stand up in the meeting room the other day. I said, fellas, guess what? Congratulations. You guys now are playing defense. We're going kickoff cover. And so it's all these different skills. How does that help a receiver understanding how to set up a block and defeat a block? Well, he's out blocking on the perimeter. And he might like to understand leverage. He might like to understand eye control. He might like to understand all the techniques that he's got to combat to go against that. Well, does he want to play on Sunday? Showed a clip yesterday. Kickoff cover with the Cleveland Browns. They got a running back out there. They got a wide receiver out there. They got 2 outside linebackers out there. They got a D lineman out there. So, when they stand up and they go to the combine, they're standing up there by themselves. And all the scouts, GMs, head coaches in the NFL are there. All they got is their technique. All they have is their knowledge and their training. I'm not going to be there. Coach Rule's not going to be there. So if you say you want to, if you say you want to be a pro, be a damn pro. Live it. Don't talk about it. Be about it.
Matt McMaster, 1620 The Zone. Coach, when you are coaching special teams, what is the balance between skill set and just effort?
In a perfect world, you got it all together, right? But truly, when you take the technique piece of it, right, which is that's everything. When you take that and you combine it with guys who run fast and who are super strong, well, now you got some great stuff. At the last place I was at, we didn't play any starters. We played all freshmen and we played walk-ons. That's what we played. And you know what? We did all right. And we were kicking it off to first-round draft picks. And you know what? Like I said, like here, coming in here, I couldn't be more excited. And it's finding that right balance. It's giving guys, developing guys, because that's part of it. You get young guys out there and you get them out in the game and you give them a role. And they go start out there, they start making plays. And guess what? Then when they go out on offense, they go out on defense, been there, done that. So you get a chance to see how guys respond when the lights are on. Some guys got deer in headlights, right? And you get to identify that. And some guys can work through it, some guys can't. If you're scared of the dark, it's probably not the spot for you.
Hey, Mike, your place kicker situation, you got Hull returning,
Yep.
who made some big kicks last year, then a year ago, Alvana, who also made some big long kicks and had injuries. How do you evaluate that right now with those two guys from what you've seen?
It's truly, it's a day-to-day, just they're putting it on film. You know, I mean, and I've got to get a feel for them, get a feel for their skill set. And like I told these guys from day one, I said, fellas, right now I'm coming in new. You guys all have a clean slate, a new beginning. But I promise you this, the standard here is to be the best. And that's what the standard is. So we got to giddy up and go, or we're going to find people to bring in that are going to hit that standard. And that's just RLS, real life shizzy.
What is your approach with kickers and punters? Do you? I know Matt has had Maher around here, or did last year. Are you hands on with the specialists, or are you more let those guys do their thing?
It's interesting because where I've been, I've always coached linebackers or outside linebackers and all the special teams. So I left a place where I had two jobs. I would go start every day with special teams meeting, break that meeting, go right into outside linebacker meeting, go right out on the practice field, coach the backers, coach the special teams, sprint off the practice field, go up to my office, watch special teams film, boom, wouldn't eat lunch, walk right into the defensive meeting, watch the defensive film, then stay there till midnight and do my other, so it's two jobs. So to answer your question, I wasn't there all the time with the kickers and punters and snappers because other responsibilities. So this is the first time that I've got an opportunity to do that, which is it's really interesting and I'm enjoying it.
Hey, Coach, Steve Mark with Inside Nebraska right here. You said you talked about trying to get a feel for the players during workouts when you're watching them. Are there specific things you look for with guys that will maybe give you an idea of, I could potentially use this guy on special teams?
Certainly. We've got every phase, it's broken down. Because again, we're just teachers, right? In every stage, it's a teaching progression, very logical, step by step. And you're teaching guys and you're identifying their skill sets within each phase. And so without getting too far into the weeds, we've got a system that trains them, and while you're training them, the film, you go, okay, all right, he's probably going to excel at this, maybe not this. You know what I mean? You can identify their skill sets within that.
Mike, you brought in, before you got here, they brought in a punter and Jack McAllister and a long snapper. What have been your initial thoughts and just where that part of the special teams operation can go with those guys?
Yeah, Kevin, Jack, those guys have been working their tails off, doing a great job. And again, it's, been here for 2 weeks. And so we're just, seeing what they can do. And then as we go through spring ball, we'll make all those decisions but very happy with how they're working and excited they're here.
What's your assessment on what you're walking into? I mean, special teams was an issue here. What did you see as you walked in?
This is what I saw. I saw exactly what we've done for 4 years at the last place I was at. And so if anybody wants to comment on what we did at the last place I was at, it's fairly ignorant because you're not in the weeds. You don't know who we're playing. You don't know all the different dynamics. So for somebody on the outside, that's why no offense, but I don't read anything y'all write because you're not in the weeds. And I don't mean it out of disrespect at all. But you don't know everything that's going on, And so for me to comment on what happened here would be ignorant. I wasn't here. And quite honestly, all I'm worried about is today and getting better today, and then we'll worry about tomorrow. So I'm just super excited because I'm walked into a team full of speed, phenomenal strength programs, phenomenal strength coach, and probably the best leader of a head coach I've ever been around. So that's my take on it, and I'm just here to do my part.
Will you not be on the road then too, or as far as a recruiter, with just the way things are structured right now in this role?
I'll tell you this, I will do whatever the head ball coach asks me to do. So I can't, that's up to him.
Hi, Coach. Adam Kruger with CBS in Omaha. I know your first stint at Nebraska probably felt like a long time ago, but where do you feel like you've made the most improvement as a coach in general from your first time here till now?
It's a great question. Again, in this profession, in life in general, every single day as a human being, as a father, as a journalist, you're getting better or worse. We never stay the same, right? So if you're built to be the best, then you're always constantly looking to improve. Every single day you wake up. And so every day in my life, it's all about continuous improvement. And there's only one way to coast, right? That's downhill. And I'm not into that. And Coach Saban said it best a couple years ago. That's why I've been so fired up coming in here. High achievers don't like low achievers. And low achievers don't like high achievers. Well, I walked into a place with a bunch of high achievers. And so to put a cap on that, every single year, every single experience, the people I've been around, I mentioned Ed Orgeron. I learned a ton about evaluation from Ed Orgeron. I go to Georgia, and I learned a ton about evaluation from Jeremy Pruitt. All these guys that, just different areas, you're either growing or you're not. And then spent a lot of time in the dungeon. I mean, I sit in my office and watch a ton of film. And it's all about, again, it's fine. You win in the margins. So you talk about, we've led the country in punt returns and whatnot. We've worked our tail off on that, and we're going to continue to. And that's how you win. It's not, people talk about it's not what you do, it's how you do it. You all have heard that, right? Well, when you combine what you do with how you do it, now you got something special. And that's always been my focus.
Coach?
Bobby Schneider, the Daily Nebraskan. Looking at Andrew Marshall's film coming in as a transfer, what excites you most about his return game?
Man, I'll tell you, again, haven't gotten it. I can't even comment on it yet because I want to see all of our guys. There's a bunch of guys out there that are banging down my door. That they're like, Coach, man, I'm your guy. I'm your guy. Because the last 5 guys we've had have all gone to the NFL, or 5 punt returners. And so, when you look at that, that's why they want to. They're in line. And so, anyway, I don't have a great feel for that yet.
Mike Evans,
with Channel 10 here in town. When you were here previously, you coached with a ton of energy on the sideline. Over the course of the past 15 or so years, has that still been a way that you behaved on the sidelines and kind of your demeanor on game day?
I'm a pretty reserved guy, as you know. And, and I still got to finish the I-80 marathon too. But, no, I mean, I think each year, honestly, I think I've gotten more energy. And, that's just who I am. You got to coach to your personality, right? And I love what I do. And I love the game day. I love the competition. I love, that's why you coach, to compete. And I just enjoy it. So, that's just kind of my personality. Hey, appreciate it. And thanks for everything, fellas.